Hello and welcome! It is time for more of Chronotopia, of course, and let's see what possibly stupid things Kionna is going to do. Hopefully she'll finally do something that makes sense. The following day, she was on everyone's lips. Now the question is, was she on everyone's lips because of lashes or because of the ball, or both? In the common room, in the corridors, in the kitchens, in the courtyard, everywhere, the detainees were wondering about that mysterious maiden who neither wanted to say where she came from nor who she was. Oh boy. However, contrary to the day before, the princess did not get any pride out of it. She stared at passers-by with apathy and politely declined to join her comrades. She was feeling empty, unable to play at all. Remarks were not long in coming.
Fine, Donkerskin. Doesn't look good today. Maybe she's put off with the fact that Griselda expressed interest for a princess. She's always had a thing for him. What a weirdo. Oh, I can understand. I'm sure some girls would love to be in the strangest place as we are speaking.
Not really. Kionna gave a sarcastic smile. She felt as she was dying inside, and at the same time she went to roar with laughter. Her mind was writhing in despair. Honestly, I mean, if she was a bit bright, like, much brighter in the head, she could, you know, trick the guy a little bit and mess up with him to mess him up completely. But no.
If only they knew.
She got believed to be the heroine of the story. Had fancied herself so much that she was only now realizing the unpleasant truth. She was not the main character, but a mere spectator of something that was beyond her and that she had naively thought she could control. I mean, definitely could play your cards better. Then the woman met Berfie coming the other way.
Hello, Donkey Skin. I hope that you managed to regain some of your composure since last night.
Kionna quivered before realizing that the cook was simply mentioning the discussion they had in the attic room.
I know that I've told you things you certainly didn't want to hear, but I think it was important for you to know. I not hold a grudge against you, quite the opposite. You've always been considerate with me, Berfie, and for that I'm very grateful. Come on, don't mention it, and don't act as if it's the last time we'll see each other.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, to be honest.
Unless, are you planning to leave? I must confess that I do not know what I should do. Should I give up?
On going after that idiot, yes?
Unfortunately, I cannot make a decision for you. If you need a piece of advice, I would tell you to put an ultimatum in place. An ultimatum? Draw an impossible line in your heart of hearts. This line reflects what you would not want to happen in any circumstances, the worst possible scenario. If Griselda were to cross that line, then you know what you ought to do. It seems to be good advice. I will follow it. You're welcome. Thank you, Berfie, for everything you've done for me. There you go again. I only want to tell you these things that I'm afraid of never having an opportunity again. As the result, I prefer to pour my heart out now. Oh, sweetheart.
The woman held her, protecting her arms with tears in her eyes.
Know that I'm proud that you've been my assistant, and I'm very happy to have met you, so don't do anything stupid, okay?
It's been 5 days. Or something like that.
I'll do my best.
As the cook's back was moving away, the princess had the clear impression that this day would be her last, that she was reaching a turning point. What do you mean? What do you mean? What's that supposed to mean? Her actions would determine the fate. She was sure of it. Today, she would be a queen or a beggar. What are you talking about? What queen? What beggar? What? Huh? What? Upon taking a quick look between the pillars, Kionna glimpsed the princess group parked in the courtyard. What if this was her last chance? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you being serious? You still want to go after this? I bet you that I would be screaming here if it was not middle of the night. Are you determined to run across the castle in order to intercept him before he went hunting? Why are you doing that? Why? What's wrong with you? She had to make him understand the situation. She had to reveal her identity. If she managed to obtain an apology from him, she would be ready to forgive everything. What? Dude, what the hell? Forgive. Oh, my. The young woman rushed outside just as their departure was being sounded. Grizel was turning his back on her, had to notice her presence, so she shouted as loudly as she could. Oh, I'm not shouting. Your Majesty, wait. That was a shout, yes. In the middle of the night, absolutely. Dude, it's 3 a.m. The knight scornfully looked at her as the prince was making his horse trot in her direction.
The servant from the last time again? What does he understand?
Without losing her contrance, the harass continues.
Majesty, there's something I must confess to you before you leave, something of the utmost importance.
However, she did not have the time to tell him that she was the girl from the ball because the Lord's intimidating shadow was looming over her. Rest in peace. Grizel cut her short.
You little pest, do you even know when to stop? Stop bothering me at once, or I will no longer be responsible for my actions.
The young man threatened her with the bridle he was holding in his hand and ordered his group to follow him. I mean, why would you run? Fuck's sake, she's so dumb. All went away while mocking her, and Kionna could only look down and clench her fists. There she had it, the much dreaded confirmation. The prince's behavior was not an error. He would never listen to her under her scullery-maid disguise. This thought should have saddened her, but surprisingly, it had a very different effect. The young Moor felt extremely angry. And probably surprised, which I'm not at all. Repeatedly affected in her pride as a princess, she could not bear any more humiliation. Enraged, she swore that this time she would go to the ball. Not to impress Grizel in this, but to take revenge. Ooh, alright. I'm on board. She would make him pay for the abuse he had inflicted on her. She would force him to apologize. Alright. Guessing game. Will she succeed or not? I'm saying no. I don't have any belief in her, basically. For the last time, Kionna got ready and put on the dress, the color of the sun. She carried and made her entrance shortly after to everyone's admiration. The crowd was heaping praise on the brilliance of the clothing, whose splendor was unrivaled. Natural Prince Grell felt a great eagerness to marry her. He ardently desired to be highly praised in everything he was doing because of everything he was owning. So the promise of adding an outstanding woman to his hunting trophies was quite titillating to him. All the more so because she seemed to be continuously shying away from his advances. That game of cat and mouse was stimulating. His predatory nature reminded him of a furtive dew that he would hunt down with his arrows until he could slaughter it. But tonight it was out of question. For her to take flight, she would be his. Tuesday, the prince came to meet her.
Oh, here you are at last, mademoiselle. How late you are tonight. But tell me, why did you deceive me? Why did you suddenly run away? My apologies, Majesty, but I cannot do otherwise. Why do you not tell me what kingdom you are truly from? I'm from the kingdom of Bridle. Should I believe you? You deceived me twice already.
Once more, he invited her to dance. And it looked to me more like he literally took her there, but without invitation at all, but... Okay. However, without her knowledge, he ensured that the dance would last a very long time. When it was over, Kionna wanted to leave once again. He held the young woman back, immobilizing her on the spot. Here you go, her revenge. Plummeting.
Easy now, mademoiselle. Where do you think you're going?
The prince tried to extricate herself, but he was grabbing her hand so tightly that it was hurting her. Griselda ordered the musicians to stop playing and requested that all the guests would watch him. They gathered around the lovers, making an escape impossible. Kionna resigned herself, ready to face her moment of truth.
Please accept, mademoiselle, this ring as a token of my love.
The crowd let a squeal of delight slip. All eyes were on them.
Do you love me, my dear prince? Oh, if I love you, I love more than my blood, and I will touch you for the rest of my life if you consent to become my fiancé. And yet you have rejected me many times before you even went as far as to beat me. Me? Beat you? Yeah, you first showered me with blows with your spur. Then you struck me with your horsewhip you were holding in your hand. And finally you threatened me with your bridle. I did not think of that kind.
Really? You are too dumb to connect the dots?
Ditu mignulelu.
No idea what that is. Little finger. I don't know that.
Ditu mignulelu is a Corsican variation of Cinderella told by Frederic Oltoli in Contes Popularis de l'Île de Corsair, 1883. A very peculiar variation of that, since the heroine is born beautiful and endowed with a gorgeous voice but as a finger. Huh?
At first thrilled by her birth, her mother eventually abandons her in a cooking pot at the age of 16 because she cannot stand her size anymore. The king's son, who happens to be passing by, hears her sing. And the more of her voice, he swears to marry her if she shows herself. It is only by smashing the pot with a raging kick that he involuntarily releases Ditu Mignulele. He's extremely annoyed to discover that the one he has just proposed to is in fact a midget, but still decides to keep his promise and takes her to the castle. As time passes, he succumbs to gloominess and decides to organize great balls to amuse himself. Ditu Mignulelu begs him to let her come as well, but he threatens her with the bridle he holds in his hand before setting off at full tilt. Her fairy godmother then appears and makes the young girl taller so that she can go to the ball. Mistaking her for a stranger, the prince mentally starts to court her and ask who she is, but she answers that she comes from a country of bridle. Then takes advantage of momentary lapse of attention to return to her previous size and slip through the guests. Ooh, that's okay. A game of cat-mouse ensues. Every night, Ditu Mignulelu tries to talk to the prince, who ignores her. Every night he uses an object to brutalize her, a bridle, a spur, and a horsewhip. And every night she goes to the ball with the help of the fairy and claims that she comes from an imaginary kingdom by taking up the same pattern. The prince is completely oblivious to the whole thing, and it's only after the third ball that Ditu Mignulelu finally manages to reveal herself by slipping the ring her husband gave to her during the festivities inside a cake to draw his attention. Delighted to see her with her princess eyes, he decides to officially wed her. I mean, wouldn't she turn back anyway? To a midget?
I did nothing of the kind.
Triumphant, she retorted.
And yet you did, my lord. I've been working your service as a goose herder in order to get closer to you. It is actually me you beaten when I had the appearance of that sultry maid you disliked so much. Oh. So you're disguised as a scatterbrain in order not to arouse my suspicion. I must now admit that you are her spitting image.
Right.
Very well, mademoiselle, you managed to fool me.
The young woman's face crumpled. She had only gone to the ball so that she could extract a proper apology from Griselda, but he seemed awfully nonchalant. What a surprise. Wow. I'm so shocked. Oh my god, who could have believed that? No way. Once the denial had stopped, he did not even attempt to acknowledge his guilt or to get to his knees. No, he was merely shrugging in front of her, smiling as if he could not care less about her feelings. In a state of stupefaction, she felt all her mental defenses give way without warning. She's like, oh, I'm gonna get him to apologize, and then, boom, she's getting mentally broken herself. Oh boy. Jubilating, the prince presented the ring he wished to give her again with a theatrical gesture. Come on, just, you know, whip it off.
Mademoiselle, I love and I want to propose to you once. Would you accept to become one with my destiny?
The guests held their breath while waiting her answer. Kionna could not decline such an offer, and she knew it. Yes, you could. Besides, she had been continually dreaming about this magical moment. She had been working hard to this end. Had endured so many hardships, all in the rest of becoming a queen at last. What are you talking about? If she says yes, I'm quitting. Marrying Griselda, a wealthy, powerful, and good-looking man, was the accomplishment of her deepest wish. She simply needed to say yes for her long exile to come to an end. It's not that long. To obtain that happy ending she had been yearning for. If she says yes, I'm quitting. Yet she could not do it. Her lips remained sealed together. Worse still, she was petrified, unable to even move. Something in her seemed to be revolting. As this long silence was challenging his patience, the prince did not intend to leave her any choice and came nearer with a sickly sweet smile that looked more akin to a sinister grimace because it was dripping with duplicity. Suddenly he raised his hand to stroke her cheek and her world turned upside down. The young woman who remained stunned saw that hand without understanding the sovereign's intents. Even the recollections of the beatings she had received flashed by in her mind. Image, noises, feelings as she was reliving those painful instants.
It all happened yesterday, by the way.
Griselda's malevolent laugh, his eyes glowing like those of a demon as he was whipping her. The pain when the leather strap hit her scorching skin, her own screams, her unanswered pleas, the mortification of having been displayed as entertainment in plain view. Everything was coming back at once like a stake planted in her heart. The traumatic memory was overwhelming her senses. She was losing all of her bearings. Neither time nor space existed. There was only a jumble of motions, shapeless, incomprehensible. Kionna's heart was pounding because of the panic spreading to her tooth. In the chaos, she perceived the man who was coming toward her as a threat. Thereby, she unconsciously took a step back at the very moment her hand was about to touch her. Yeah, let's go. It was merely a survival mechanism, a natural response to the abuses she had endured over the last few days. Technically 2 of them, yet that unfortunate action proved fatal to her. What do you mean? The prince was not accustomed to be challenged in the slightest, and he took the rejection very badly. Oh, wow, what a surprise! The blow dealt to his pride was all the more terrible as his own guests turned against him by immediately starting to giggle behind his back. Good, good.
Have you seen this poor girl's face? She looks disgusted at the idea of wedding him.
Did she not say that he had hit her? This is not proper conduct to have when courting a lady. She must see the sovereign as he really is, conceited and abusive. Griselda has always been an irascible man. It is not very surprising that he would scare of princesses. At this pace, he's never going to be married.
She's not the first one to turn him down, but this one is quite brave. She's not even promising to think about it. Neither she make excuses of what having to accept. Now she's physically pushing him away.
The nobles, chattering, struck the final blow to the prince's leniency. Belittled in front of his own subjects, rejected by a woman, wounded by in his enormous ego, he exploded. His friendly look turned to an expression of vile resentment, suddenly making him appear very ugly. I mean, he always was, but just saying, I was saying that from the beginning. Flying into a dark rage, he began to insult the poor girl who did not know how to react.
Miscreant! You have the audacity to refuse your lord's proposal! I'm doing you great honor of taking you as my spouse, you a beggar, a scullery maid with a treacherous tongue, a slither to make lad of me! This is not what I wanted.
Why are you responding to him?
Silence, foolish girl! Somebody will be certainly punished for your insolence! Guards, order to take her to prison! She'll be crucified at daybreak!
Huh? And she's like,
Lord have mercy!
I don't know, I mean, as expected.
May your punishment serve as an example of the women in the kingdom. Let them know that from now on they have to submit to our will. My will under penalty of execution.
No girl, whether a baroness, a duchess, or a cook, or a scullery maid has the right to deny me her body.
I mean... LOL, I guess. I mean, what the fuck? Henchmen burst in the ballroom, stripped her of her rich attires, and dragged her by the arms across the castle. Now you look like your mother, now that I think about it, finally. For the very first time I can say that you look similar. Lastly, she was unceremoniously thrown to the dungeon. Within those damp and cold walls, she implored the king to grant her I had a really crazy freaking thought right now, but it wouldn't make any sense. So I won't even say it, by the way. Within those damp and cold walls, she implored the king to grant her his pardon again and again in vain. When the executioner came to pick her up at the crack of dawn, she had hardly slept and was already looking weakened and pitiable. A huge crowd had rushed at the city's gates to attend her execution. The citizens were yelling, agitated. Some questions emerged.
Montesquieu crime, infidelity, murder. Did you hear the news? She refused to marry the prince. That's it, Grizzard has lost his mind.
What wretched Kionna let herself be led to the gallows without putting up much resistance. She was physically and mentally broken, so much so that she barely reacted upon hearing her name.
Tankith King!
As she was turning her head, the young woman glimpsed Berfi's aghast eyes for a few seconds, her mouth wide open. Stunned, she was staring at her without understanding. Unfortunately, she was quickly lost in the melee. The criminal was laid on a wooden beam as the executioner nailed her two wrists. An inhuman scream ripped through the air. She was then hoisted off the ground. Her torturer made her bend her knees and finally hammered the last nail in her feet. Two trails of blood flowed from her hands. The ordeal had begun. The crowd eventually scattered, leaving Kionna to her sad fate. The wounds caused by the stakes inflicted terrible suffering on her each time she was moving, and yet she had to. In fact, if she was to leave her body's way fast, very quickly her ribcage would start to get stuck and she would feel the first signs of asphyxia. Consequently, she had to concentrate all of her strength on lifting up her body for a few centimeters at regular intervals, which allowed her to breathe at the cost of an Herculean effort. The more time passed, the weaker she felt because of the bleeding, the acute pain and the heat, making this back and forth more and more exhausting. With dry lips, the young woman looked up at the sky, tears still in her eyes. The prince had left a long time ago, satisfied by his stand. She had hoped that he would have changed his mind out of mercy. Really? You would expect that? I mean... that he would have interrupted the executioner before he had hammered the first nail in her flesh. She believed that her repentance would have softened his heart and was only realizing just now that it was impossible to melt a heart of ice like this. Well. Would you look at that? What should we do? Oh my god, it's another reset then. And she would be doing more stupid things, won't she? You know what, let's have a look first. And then we'll load and see. I mean, we are supposed to have a look at the death scenes. She's been through a lot. I bet she would give up in a normal situation herself, to be honest. Again, I think, yeah, she seems like the kind of person, it's like situation like that she would give up by now, to be honest. Anywho, the pain was unbearable, so unbearable in fact that Kionna would rather get rid of her own body and life. Her mind, muddled by the terrestrial torments she was enduring, she soon became incapable of thinking straight and surrendered herself to the hands of God. And began like, I don't want you here. Thus she perished far too young, doomed by the will of fate, before she could even make use of the fairy's power. Her death instantly broke the pact she had made with Medea, and the latter hurried back to the World Tree's side, although she was struck by her ephemeral protege's fate. However, the news did not reach the ears of unfortunate Nahima, who was still desperately waiting for the return of her mistress. In spite of her duties, she was still regularly cleaning and tidying her room, convinced that Kionna could reappear overnight. Every night she would take a look out of the window and pray.
Princess, I know that you could not have possibly forgotten your Nahima. Surely are you unable to send me a message for the moment, but I'm persuaded that you are alive and well somewhere and that you will return to me one day.
Yeah, you believe in her way too much.
I'll wait as long as necessary, until my very last breath if needed.
Thus the servant spent her life, vainly hoping for the return of her friend, but she would never see her again. That end. Is there an achievement for this one, or is the dead end achievement one for every single one? Seems like it. Alright. Let's do something that I believe she wouldn't do in this situation. Half-choke Kionna summoned her godmother.
Medea, please.
The very voice echoed as an orb of light was appearing right before her eyes.
Yes, my child. Oh my god. Have I really signed a pact with you? Ah, what was I thinking? Oh, terrible decision.
It hurts so much, I cannot take it anymore.
Do you wish to be saved?
Yes, godmother. I beg of you, make it so that I can go back in time to undo me my mistakes.
I wonder where it will take us.
Very well, princess.
She's not specifying again where she wants to be moved back for, which is annoying.
You need to specify, woman.
Under the haggard eyes of the girl condemned to death, a blinding light appeared as she was slowly losing consciousness.
She's a witch!
Afraid thoughts arose in her mind just before darkness struck her.
Is it already too late?
Too late for what?
Achievement unlocked. Crucified.
Wait a second. Let's see. Well, achievement unlocked, crucified. To be fair, nothing else needs to be said. Kionna was drifting unconscious in an ocean of darkness at the border between life and death. At the instigation of the fairy, the thread of time had rewinded by itself. The world had reverted to that fateful moment when everything had turned upside down. The surge's time was about to turn its own tide. The dam would not hold much longer. Thus opened the invisible doors. A new cycle could begin. A new choice. Over here? Princess brutally regained consciousness on her bed, gasping for air. She had the unpleasant sensation that her vital energy had leapt in a body which had stayed inert for too long. We've had... Okay, I'm gonna do this again. Just like previously. I was told as I supposedly skipped a part, but we are totally doing that. Yo, I totally read that line. I remember the inert part. But what? Okay, too long, inconvenient body of a doll. With bulging eyes, her heart still pounding from the dread, she remained perfectly motionless for a handful of minutes, each more interminable than the last. Memories were flowing back to her, feelings too, despite being flat on her back. Kionna felt as though she was still nailed above the ground, unable to move. The gap between what her eyes could see, the peaceful and muted atmosphere of her own bedroom, and what was happening in her mind, the dazzling sun, the dry air, entering her lungs, and the incredulous expression of Berthy was so wide that she remained plunged in total confusion for a long time. When she was able to dispel the hallucination and regain control of her body, she finally stood up as quiet as a statue. It had now become a certainty. She had been brought back from the dead.
Technically, you did not die.
During her previous time jumps, she had harbored the secret hope that her clouded memories were nothing more than dark dreams, and Nahami had encouraged her in that direction.
What?
She was only now realizing her mistake. One? Only one? Everything was far too real. The pain, the fire that was inhabiting her body, like a reminder of the journey to the heart of hell, the anger that was rising within her. Her mouth dried up by those long hours spent on display, spent rotting away, bleeding to death. The princess came to a conclusion as she was massaging her wrist, still itching from the nails the executioner had hammered in her flesh. This was no dream. She had definitely died. What was more, it had happened for the third time. Yeah? She clenched her fists. Her eyes met those of her servant, still positioned in a corner of the room. She was certainly worrying about her mood. Should Kionna explain her torment to her? Her friend would never believe her. She had not believed her the first time. And even if she had faith in her account, what could she even do to help her? Her retainer could not accompany her on their journey. This was her story, her trial. She had to overcome it alone. Alright. You say that, but it's always someone else who, you seek to solve your problems. Besides, if she knew what the princess had to live through, she would without a doubt feel a great sadness. It would be cruel to provoke her anxiety at the very moment she needed to appease her, to tell her she was going to be okay in her absence. It would be better to leave her out of everything to keep her in ignorance. She could not understand. No, Nahima could not understand.
You've been staring at me for a little while, princess. Is there something I can do for you? It is nothing, Nahima. I'm simply feeling tired.
Still under the yoke of what she had just experienced, yet keen to reassure her friend, Kionna gave a terribly fake and forced smile.
Could you leave me alone for a few moments? I have difficulty concentrating.
The young mood was not fooled, but still pretended to believe her, thinking that she simply needed solitude.
Most certainly. Seeing as it is quite late, I can't enter and exit my room without thinking the other servants panic. I will wait for you in the library. It is a safe place. Come see me there once you have found a plan, or if you need me. Understood. See you in a bit, Nahima. See you later, princess.
To avoid showing her tormented face, Kionna sat down at her dressing table while the servant was disappearing into the corridors. She turned around when the door slammed, but it was only to abundantly sigh.
Hey.
She mumbled as she was brushing her hair absent-mindedly.
I thought that I needed to approach Griselle to become queen, but I was wrong. I could never marry such a man.
Dude, took you a moment to realize that.
I necessarily made Fleur suffer even though she was trying to warn me, just like Berthy incidentally. I was wrong.
You were always wrong, by the way. Her fingers suddenly stopped moving. She furiously dropped the hairbrush.
He heard me humiliated and he sentenced me to death, and for that I will never forgive him.
You are in a different timeline now, Fo, by the way.
I swear before God, I'll make him pay. As soon as I will be the queen, I will ask my husband to wage war against King Griselle and will take possession of his lands.
Once again, you are not solving your problems yourself.
We shall see whether he can see himself satisfies my wants. I will have personally dethroned him.
Personally, I will ask my husband. Come on. So pathetic. Highly ruffled, the princess had great difficulty maintaining her composure and focus, yet she still had to find a way to escape as she was now back to her starting point. Considering that walking was the best way to her mind of those things, she had begun a little night stroll. Her steps led her to the palace garden. At this time nobody was around, there were only particles floating in the fresh evening breeze. Soothed, the princess enjoyed the tranquility of this small haven of peace and dipped her fingers in the fountain's water while she was mentally going over the previous strategy. What strategy? Fleeing with the donkey's skin as a disguise had allowed her to reach the closest monarch, but her legs could hardly carry her elsewhere. Going beyond Grisel's lands would exhaust her and jeopardize her chance of success. Thus, she needed a solution to travel much farther than the previous time and reach a kingdom where a more merciful lord would be likely to take her in. Oh, fuck's sake. Just kill the king, okay? Just come on. Finding a way to travel was consequently her new goal.
Oh, there is a creep right around the corner, right? I bet he's like there, right there.
Losing her own thoughts, the young mood left the garden without noticing two red eyes that were gleaming in the shade of the foliage. As she was constantly passing before the elite hallway, Kionna could not suppress a certain curiosity. Guards seemed to be specifically patrolling around the throne room, even though her father had withdrawn to his apartments long ago. What could they be protecting? While ensuring that the sentries were not in the vicinity anymore, she took a look inside the room. What the fuck? Why is there a golden bull here? What? What's it? Not far from the throne, an unusual object was drawing all attention. It was an enormous statue supposed to depict a bull. Shaped in a purest gold, the animal was shining brightly. The young woman remembered it was a present her father intended to give to a lord, the son of a friend who had once saved him from certain evil or something. The whole castle had been eagerly waiting for the golden bull's arrival before the news of her marriage played havoc with everyone's mind. The precious object had very likely just been delivered to the king by a great goldsmith, and no doubt he would send it to his friend soon. And dude, a prediction. Calling the godmother, telling the godmother to make that golden bull alive, she will right away on it. It's a dumb idea. She will do it. Rumor had it that his palace was located several leagues away and that an escort would be needed in order to ensure that the golden bull would not be stolen by some highwayman. Fearing that one of the guards would come back, Kionna took advantage of the vegetation to sneak into her room without being seen. Her night stroll had been quite instructive. Just look at this. This is going to be it.
I had completely forgot about that gift my father was preparing.
I had no idea about that thing.
What a shame that it's not possible for me to hide in the statue.
Okay, similar. Very similar thing to what I said.
If what they say is true, the monarch it is intended for...
Dude, if... you will die inside.
If what they say is true, the monarch it is intended for is living for enough so that nobody would think of looking for me there. And if that man is good, he will not hesitate to protect me.
The princess froze in a pensive posture.
If only I could slip inside that escort one way or another.
Jesus Christ. The opportunity was too good. She could not help wanting to say that just like a Trojan horse, the golden bull would allow her to attain freedom. She was sure of it. I'm sure you'll refile again, man. For that reason, she had to quickly wash her face in order to make herself presentable in anticipation of the trip to come. Really? She had yet to pick up her friend, who was probably still waiting for her in the library. What? What? No, you are not. With heavy heart, she considered that it would be better not to brief her so that she would not be involved in this chaos.
Forgive me, Naima. I do not have this...
Actually, maybe it was a better idea to get her. Whatever.
I do not have the strength to see you one last time when I have to hide all those things from you. I pray that we'll meet again soon. Then I will explain everything to you, I swear.
Until next time, we are calling to Fairy Godmother to revert the time. She then closed her eyes and finally found the one her fate was depending on.
Godmother, if you are here, I beseech you to appear before me.
That was cool, just eyes first and... Once after a purple whirlwind answered her call, the first body slowly emerged from it, starting with the eyes.
I see that you are dressed but by yourself, princess. Did not wish to keep a servant by your side.
I might have made a mistake. Whatever.
Whatever.
Kionna discreetly bit her lips. Her godmother was decidedly too perceptive. She opted for a half lie to conceal her defeat.
She was here a minute ago. Are they informed her of my plan and bid her farewell before calling you already lying to your godmother?
She knows you are lying. Oh boy. The creature's pupils narrowed. She seemed displeased but made no remark.
The fact remains that I have made my choice, godmother, and I need you to realize it. Because I can't do anything myself, obviously. I'm listening.
Okay. You're so going to die. You're so going.
Godmother, I would like you to make the golden bull my father is about to deliver empty in such a way as to hide inside unbeknown to all. I would also like to have a magic filter which can rid me of all my senses, make me fall in deep sleep akin to a death, so that I would not be discovered during that long trip. First, if everything goes as I hope, I will be asleep for several days and regain consciousness once any danger has passed.
I wonder if she will think of a way to get out of that pool.
Oh, furthermore, I would need some sort of, a sort of magic chest that will allow...
Oh my god, you are going with that shit again?
Allow me to bring my most beautiful clothes along and to bring me the evidence of my social status.
How about you pack something actually useful?
This is quite an astute plan, I'll give you that.
No, it's not. The young Moor instinctively cut her short and added.
Oh, my possibilities are extremely limited if I travel on foot. I implore you to help me, godmother, because I can't do anything myself, obviously. Easy now, gorgeous. I can indeed provide you with this potion transformed the stage structure. Consequently, you have no need to beg me. My apologies, it's just that our time's running out. Really? You seem quite eager, child. You were much calmer a few hours ago.
The fairies only fixed her gaze on her with penetrating eyes, like a bird of prey.
She knows. Nothing happened in my absence, I hope.
Come on. Come on. You know what happened. Even if you, for some reason, don't know, you are bright enough to understand what happened. The sentence was friendly, almost nonchalant, yet Maria withstood her scrutiny with so much vehemence that it was difficult not to perceive it as a form of threat. Kionna gulped. It would have been conceited of her to claim she could trick such a powerful creature, and she was under no illusion, as during her previous attempt to escape, the fairy was suspicious of her. But she did not want to dwell on this fateful night. She had to forge ahead. A better future was waiting for her somewhere.
Nothing, godmother. I'm simply longing to escape.
Filthy liar. To her great relief, the creature let go of her hold and turned her back on her.
If you're not hiding anything, I suppose we can continue. She's hiding a lot. As you have asked, I will make the golden bull hollow. All you have to do is open a little door, mask in its flank to sit inside.
She glanced over her shoulder and threw a small object in her direction. By reflex, the young woman caught it. Surprise. That's surprising, she managed. Another immediately followed.
Oh, and here are the potions in my hazel root. I will say no more. You already know how to use it, do you not? She knows. Indeed. In that case, my work here is done. Follow me. I'll personally show you how to climb inside the bull, and fear not, I will immobilize the guards on our path.
Medea promptly led the way, and her heirs hastened to follow her through the hallways with a pounding heart. It was the first time that she was seeing her godmother walk on a long distance, too she could not help studying her movements, expecting her to fly away or vanish at any time. Yet she had to face reality after a few minutes. Nothing special was happening. Discreetly observe her. Address the subject. What should I do? She's dumb, let's address the subject.
It probably seems silly to you, but I'm so used to see you appear to enter and exit the room that I thought you would be working in a similar fashion.
The fairy began to laugh heartily.
Oh. I look far less extraordinary without special effects, I suppose. If truth be told, I could work normally all the time if I wanted to. It would simply be more tiring. What prompted you to use magic then? There is an element of personal satisfaction. I like to have fun and making an impression on mortals never disappoints. But all the fairies you will encounter also do it out of survival instinct. The issue with you, humans, is that you are going to turn against us if we do not excessively amplify the almightiness of our powers.
Yeah?
I presume that you are speaking from experience. It not happened to me personally, as I never hesitated to threaten my humans in case it would occur to them to play tricks on me. On the other hand, there have been a certain number of fairies who have been perished for being too accommodating with theirs. My god, what happened to them? I would like to tell you those stories of if I were not afraid of giving you ideas. I would rather stay alive, Keke.
Don't worry, I mean, come on, it's Kionna we're talking about, like she could do anything to you. Come on, let's be realistic.
I understand.
Kionna lowered her eyes with sadness.
You must hate us.
Yeah?
I'm amazed that there has not yet been any war between men and fairies given what you are telling me. Oh, but there have been. Believe it or not, but they were always one-sided. As our role is to protect the world, we have no interest in destroying it.
I mean, destroying humans sounds like a good idea, you know. There are certain people that would not be, could be erased. Come on.
Unless mankind wish to become malevolent to such an extent as to threaten the cosmic balance, in that case you...
Dude, how are we not causing that right now in real life? What the heck?
In that case you would become our enemies and we would have no qualms in eliminating you. I hope it will never happen. I hope so too, my child.
As promised, the two women reached the throne room without any trouble. Once the secret passage was shown, the princess only had to shut herself inside the golden animal. It was a highly uncomfortable place, narrow and without any light, but she consoled herself by thinking it was a temporary vehicle.
I will leave you now, love. What happens next is out of my hands. Don't forget to drink the filter I have concocted. Right away, godmother. Thank you for help. Good luck. You are so going to fail.
Kionna's new plan worked perfectly. Okay, let's not jump the gun here, okay? Which was remaining asleep within the statue. Retainers came to pick her up in the bedroom in order to get her ready and did not find anyone. The whole castle was alerted by the prince's sudden disappearance and searched from top to the bottom while no stone had left unturned, except for one. Naturally, nobody thought of examining the golden bull. At the very time, the king, fuming, was ordering his men to patrol the kingdom in the hope of catching her. The animal was loaded on a cart to transport it as originally intended. The good Nahima left out her mistress' intentions, was completely unaware of how she could have escaped. Although it proved to be quite useful when interrogated about her involvement, she felt great apprehension. From the window of the now vacant bedroom, she contemplated the escort that was supposed to protect the royal present as it was leaving in the distance. Come on, Nahima, you can connect the dots, right? Come on.
I hope everything is happening as you had hoped, princess, and that you managed to take shelter somewhere. In any case, I'll be praying for your well-being.
The servant lady wiped away a lonely tear.
So please do not forget about me.
For her part, the fairy had materialized in the forest so that she could observe the procession more closely. Even though the stratagem was unfolding to perfection, she wore a concerned expression.
You're straying into dangerous territories, young woman. Be careful, at the slightest misstep, you could very well fall into the void.
Yo, let's do that. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I wanna hear more.
You know what? Let's find out after what happened after a few days in the next episode. I'm going to bed, god damn it. It's 4 a.m. It's good that it's Sunday. Will I record something tomorrow? I have no clue. But maybe we'll have an episode anyway. Let's end for now. I'm telling you, this might have been a stupid idea again. But we'll see. We will see. Is it another dead end? Possibly. Maybe it will not be. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. However, not today. Anyway, let's end it. Hope you enjoyed. Consider liking, subscribing. Always appreciate it. Game link in the description, of course. Anything else? That's ready. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.